Many people say their hometown is a unique place, but Szczecin is really special. With a population of about 400,000, the capital of West Pomerania covers an area of over 300 square kilometers. Half of this is green areas, 1/4 is covered by lakes and the Odra and Regalica rivers. Undoubtedly, it is a city like no other in Poland or Europe. Get on board a cruise boat on the Odra and several minutes later you will be enjoying the city's wonderful nature. Tiny white islands, a maze of channels of Międzyodrze, diverse tree species and extremely rare birds, including white-tailed eagles circling over tall trees. Along the Odra waterfront, a steep embankment is topped with an outstanding trio of a century-old buildings, the only such urban complex in Europe. Today is Wały Chrobrego, or Chrobry Embankment. In the past was named Haken Terrace, in honor of Szczecin's great mayor Herman Haken. Another unique feature of the heart of West Pomerania, Art Nouveau and eclectic architecture of the city center built in the late 19th century. The street layout resembles that in Paris, designed by the famous urban planner Georges Haussmann. Luckily, most of the Szczecin's modernist buildings survived the chaos of World War II. 2/3 of the city was turned into ruins. Almost all of the surviving historical buildings were carefully restored or reconstructed after the war, including beautiful tenement houses, mansions and palaces. Szczecin is a city of freedom. It was here in December 1970 that Polish workers put their lives at stake, fighting for dignity and freedom. Two symbols of this fight commemorate the workers' protests: the Solidarity Square and the statue of the Angel of Freedom, overlooking the undulating square. Right below it, the Museum and Center for Dialogue Przełomy, or Breakthroughs, exhibits Polish road to democracy. The venue won a World Building of the Year prize in 2016. This monumental site neighbors an ultra-modern solid block of the Szczecin Philharmonic Hall. Winning the European Union's Architecture Prize in 2015, the building with a zigzagging roof profile and a translucent ribbed glass facade instantly became a showcase of modern Szczecin. Outstanding acoustics of the concert halls and world-class performers attract music lovers from as far as Berlin. The city has changed beyond recognition. A typical industrial hub became a higher education center, including Szczecin University, West Pomeranian University of Technology, Pomeranian Medical University and several other institutions of higher education. Szczecin also counts on the development of tourism. 3 decades from now, the far-fetched idea of Szczecin, the floating garden 2050, will become a reality, making the city an exceptional leisure destination. Hundreds of hectares of vegetation, hills, ponds, lakes, marinas, piers and lovely coves are city's invaluable assets, already bringing tangible benefits. Jasne Błonia Square and Kasprowicz Park are the jewel of Szczecin's greenery, with rare trees, alleys and an amphitheater. These verdant grounds neighbor the city center, where modern architecture mingles with the rows of buildings constructed at the turn of the 20th century. No doubt, Wały Chrobrego is the city's showcase, a perfect example of the transformation from a Prussian stronghold into a modern industrial city of the early 20th century. 3 massive edifices on top of a steep embankment catch the eye of every visitor. The central one houses the National Maritime Museum and the Contemporary Theatre. The enormous red brick building on the right is the seat of West Pomeranian authorities. The 3 buildings were put up in the years 1902-1916 on the site of demolished Fort Leopold and other military fortifications. Szczecin had always been a stronghold that abandoned its military character in the 19th century. Today's Wały Chrobrego looks almost the same as Haken Terrace a century ago. An old fountain is adorned with coats of arms of Pomeranian towns. Up on the terrace, invincible Hercules is fighting a centaur. On the left stands the Maritime University, another major institution of the academic Szczecin. One of the best maritime universities in Europe, it educates domestic and foreign students. Every year, the inauguration of the academic year has a special setting at the foot of Wałych and the Odra River in the background. That's one of the features of maritime Szczecin, seen in all its glory from the historical Hakenterrasse. Szczecin, despite the destruction of war, has quite a number of sightseeing locations. Not far from Wałych stands the most prominent Catholic church, St. James Cathedral. The temple, overlooking the city with its 119-meter spire, is the second tallest church in Poland. The cathedral dates back to the 12th century wooden temple. Its current shape faithfully reflects its previous character. The interior features a 14th century grave slab from St. Otto Church, a Gothic altar and a Baroque statue of St. James. A special place on the map of Szczecin. Not far from the cathedral you will see another equally fine antique building, St. John the Evangelist Church. Its construction, back in the 13th century, was initiated by the Franciscans. In its turbulent history, there was a plan to demolish it, but eventually it was renovated in the early 20th century. Inside, the Gothic grave slab of the Ravensthorpe family of 1378 and fragments of 15th century polychromatic art epitomize the medieval past. Close to St. James Cathedral, along the riverfront road, is Szczecin's old town, recreated in the 1990s. It's been a unique project in Poland. The pre-war foundations support new tenement houses, thus preserving the pre-war street network. The only historical building is the 15th century City Hall. The seat of the City Museum is located at Sienne Market Square, the most interesting part of the old town with a new twist. Some of the buildings were faithfully reproduced, like the corner residence of Berlin banker Abel, originally built in the early 18th century. Walking towards the Pomeranian Duke's castle, you will pass the fine 16th century Lloyd's family house, initiated by Mayor Hans II Lloyd's. The mansion was given a form of a Renaissance burgher's castle. Characteristically, the building is topped by a tower with oblique windows. Today, it's a home to an art school. The Lloyd's house is a few-minute walk from the Pomeranian Duke's castle, a popular sightseeing location. Till the Griffith family extinction, the castle had been a pride of the Duchy of Pomerania. The city's life focused around the castle. Cobblestone streets and houses of wealthy townspeople emerged in the neighborhood, like Kuśnierska Street remaining to this day. Till the 16th century, Szczecin was closely related to the former Republic. Then the town and the castle were captured by the Swedes. In the first half of the 18th century, Szczecin was bought out from the Swedes by Prussian King Frederick William I for a huge amount of $2 million. The castle's Renaissance character was rendered in the 16th century. The bigger main courtyard is a venue of numerous concerts and art events, including the famous Festival of Tenors. Built in 1693, the astronomical clock on the south wing tower attracts attention of every visitor. As World War II demolished most of the magnificent residence, it took years to restore it. Today, the castle houses an opera, art galleries, and a theater. The White Eagle Square and adjacent streets feature historical palaces rebuilt and restored after 1945. The square has one intriguing ornament, a Baroque statue of Flora. Roman goddess of flowers, fertility and spring. The late Baroque fountain is topped by a royal eagle with outspread wings ready to fly. The fountain was launched in 1732. The palace under the globe, the seat of the Academy of Arts, is architecturally the most interesting feature at the square. The neo-Baroque building was erected in the late 19th century on the site of the former palace, the birthplace of later Empress Maria Fyodorovna, called the Mother of Tsars. Her 3 sons went to the throne of Russia. Nearby, on Farna Street, stands a house where Empress Catherine the Great was born. You may stop at one corner of the White Eagle Square to take a closer look at the former Welthausen Palace, currently home to a music school. This is Szczecin's most beautiful building, bearing Baroque and Classicist features. An interesting palace complex stands along the Soldiers' Square. The former Palace of Pomeranian States Parliament today is the seat of the National Museum, with a rich exhibition of Pomeranian's history. The palace was completed in 1729. The museum displays the unique collection Golden Age of Pomerania and the marble statue of Frederick II, known as Frederick the Great. Right across the street, the palace under the Heads houses a gallery of modern art and the Artists' Club of 13 Muses. In the old days, the Prussian Royal Mail was a co-owner of the building. 2 Baroque gates are reminiscent of the old fortification. The Royal Gate, previously called the Anklam Gate, was designed in the 18th century by Gerhard Cornelius von Wallrabe, a Prussian army officer and engineer. The cartouche on top depicts a Prussian eagle in the royal crown. The Port Gate, formerly called Brandenburg, then Prussian Gate, was designed by the same architect and built in the years 1725-1727. This place in Szczecin deserves special attention. Szczecin's Central Cemetery is one of its kind, Poland's largest necropolis, 3rd in Europe. Its vast area was laid out at the turn of the 20th century. Wilhelm Meyer-Schwartau was the main architect of the necropolis. The Neo-Roman cemetery chapel was completed in 1901. The cemetery's characteristic landmark, built on the plan of a Greek cross, the chapel preserved its original pre-war shape. It faces a war graveyard of Polish and Soviet soldiers who died during World War II. The statue commemorating them represents wings of Polish hussars, the cavalry that defeated Turkish army in the Battle of Vienna. Numerous lapidaria comprise tombstones of respected pre-war families, Davids, Meisters, Ries, and a tomb statue of Szczecin's most famous mayor, Hermann Haken. The statue, for those who have not returned from the sea, symbolically marks the final resting place of seafarers who died away from home. There are also monuments to those who gave their lives in World War II, such as the Katyń Cross, devoted to Polish officers murdered in 1940 by the Soviets. The cemetery is also an exceptional park with more than 400 species of trees and bushes from Europe, Asia, and North America. Millions of voting candles create an amazing view of the necropolis after nightfall on All Saints' Day, in remembrance of those who have passed away. The Central Cemetery is a place of memory and reflection, and an important testimony to the city's history. At night, countless candles mix with the lights of the pulsating modern city. Architectural styles clash in this city. Massive buildings of the Prussian times mix with modernist and socialist era buildings. The Red Town Hall, built in the 1870s as a seat of the city authorities, stands next to Tobruk Square. Nearby, you will come across the stately Pomeranian Medical University building, built in the early 20th century for Szczecin's administration. The Medical University, a pride of Szczecin science, is attended by students from many European countries. Its achievements in the field of genetics are known worldwide. Another short walk towards the river and you arrive at a huge complex of the former Imperial Post, today the local headquarters of Polish Mail. It looks like a fortress from the outside. In its immediate vicinity, the central train station is an interesting combination of the pre-war and 21st century architecture. A starting point for trips to destinations in Poland and Western Europe. Szczecin is a city of open spaces, modern buildings, punctual public transport and wide streets. Victory Square, one of the city's hubs, emerged in the late 19th century after the stronghold ceased to exist. The Garrison Church represents a neo-Gothic style. The Church of the Sacred Heart of Our Lord Jesus exemplifies the modernist architecture of the early 20th century. The two churches at Victory Square are surrounded by Art Nouveau-style tenement houses characteristic of the city center. Independence Avenue, one of the city's most representative streets, is lined by modern offices as well as old architecture. The impressive red brick post office was constructed in 1905 for the Prussian Royal Mail. The prominent Baroque classical-style building originally was the seat of a mortgage bank. A modern bank in Bogurodzica Street stands next to the Church of St. John the Baptist, one of the first Catholic temples constructed in Pomerania after the Reformation. A large part of the Szczecin downtown features eclectic and Art Nouveau architecture built on the star-shaped layout of streets radiating from roundabouts. There are few cities in Europe where urban solutions used in Paris dominate so visibly. In Pilots Square or Place Lotników, you can admire an old copy of Bartolomeo Colleoni statue, created in 1913 for the Szczecin City Museum. Going along Fountain Avenue, you can have a rest in a cafe with surroundings abounding with flowers and trees. The statue of a seafarer with a raised collar marks one end of the avenue. The helmsman looks at Grunwald Place or Place Grunwaldzki, a very Paris-like part of Szczecin. Every spring, the inner edges of the roundabout are lined with marvelous magnolias, a symbol of Szczecin's nature. There are thousands of magnolia trees all around the city. The drone's eye view perfectly shows the star-shaped street layout and the beauty of Art Nouveau architecture. From Grunwald Place, John Paul II Avenue leads to Jasne Błonia and Kasprowicz Park, a wide belt of greenery adorned with flowers and trees. Let us stop in front of the magnificently restored multi-wing City Hall. After 4-year reconstruction, the opening ceremony took place in 1927. Originally the seat of Pomeranian Province administration, today the building houses Szczecin City Council and President's Office. Visitors to Szczecin usually begin sightseeing at the center, comprising the majority of modern hotels, offices, restaurants, shops, and cultural facilities. The Pazim Center, a prominent landmark in downtown Szczecin, is a 100-meter office tower with a cozy Café 22 on the top floor. Sipping coffee, you can gaze at the city panorama, with a view of the port and Lake Dombie. The office building neighbors the shopping mall Galaxy. Another site for a shopping spree in the heart of the city, Galeria Cascada, is a short walk from the Pazim Center. Naturally, the majority of big commercial facilities are located on the outskirts of Szczecin. More than a dozen large shopping centers or hypermarkets sell everything you need. Szczecin's vast area with distinct neighborhoods is crisscrossed by wide transport routes, providing quick access to each. Housing estates enjoy rich vegetation with occasional ponds and little lakes diversifying the scenery. Perfect places for active rest, playgrounds and walking paths surround the lakes. Szczecin noted a significant increase in major investment projects after 2004, following Poland's accession to the European Union. The western and eastern banks of the Oder River are spanned by several road and rail bridges. The Castle Route, the city's main road, was built in the 1980s. Driving east along the Castle Route, you'll enjoy a view of the port. The public transport efficiency has greatly increased owing to the fast tramway line connecting the center with distant housing developments east of the river. Thanks to A6 and S3 highways, the region's capital has excellent transport links with Berlin, Western Europe and Central Poland. The Eastern Szczecin used to be called the bedroom community, but today it has all commercial and recreational facilities, cinemas, shops, restaurants and sport facilities. Home to 100,000 residents of Szczecin, Prawobrzeże, meaning right-hand riverbank, has three large estates: Majowe, Bukowe and Słoneczne. It is good to settle in Szczecin, the city abounding in greenery. West Pomeranian capital has a few big hospitals, two on the Odra's eastern side. Zdroje Hospital stands in the immediate vicinity of housing developments. A few kilometers away, on the edge of Goleniów Forest, Zdunowo Hospital continues its pre-war functions. Next to the old buildings, it operates an ultra-modern lung transplantation ward. Located in the heart of the forest, the hospital has its own intake of crystal clear water. On the other side of Szczecin, two other healthcare facilities are run. The West Pomeranian Oncological Center and the Clinical Hospital of the Pomeranian Medical University in Unia Lubelska Street. Annually, tens of thousands of patients are provided with European standard healthcare and medical treatment. Szczecin is proud of a new sports and concert hall, Arena Azoty. The three-story building can accept over 5,000 spectators and hundreds of cars in the parking lot. The Arena Azoty is a venue of basketball and volleyball games, music star concerts and other entertainments. The downtown Olympic-sized swimming pool floating arena hosted European Swimming Championships. Szczecin has always been a seaport and for decades the seat of Europe's major ship owner, Polish Steamship Company. Successful operations are run by the jointly managed ports of Szczecin and Świnoujście, a number of specialized shipyards and firms cooperating with shipbuilding facilities across Europe. In the early 21st century, city authorities recognized the development of science and high technology as the main goal. Szczecin has become an academic city. Szczecin Technology Park offers career opportunities to young people intending to establish their own startups, develop small firms, and implement modern technologies. Szczecin's 21 state-owned and private institutions of higher education are attended by more than 60,000 students from all over Poland and abroad. The University of Szczecin is the largest one. After the 1989 political transformation, many buildings were taken over by universities and academies. Szczecin University moved its faculties of economics and the humanities to a building that was to be a printing house. Another faculty of economics in Mickiewicz Street is situated in two buildings, one new, the other relatively old, architecturally interesting building put up in 1914 for the Institute of Deaf-Mute Persons. Of the newly built academic facilities, the state-of-the-art Nanotechnology Center is part of the West Pomeranian University of Technology, known as ZUT. After merging with the Academy of Agriculture, ZUT raised the quality of academic life in the city. Graduates are specialists in power engineering, robotics, chemistry, architecture, or information technology, with good prospects for successful careers in Poland and abroad. A drone's eye view perfectly shows the beauty of the city. In its various parts, the green areas and water reservoirs cover in total 2/3 of Szczecin area. Żeromski Park between the shopping complex and Wały Chrobrego before the war was residents' favorite place to walk and rest. Today, Jasne Błonia Square and Kasprowicz Park are more appealing. This belt of greenery starts behind the City Hall and runs along a tree-lined alley and a lake on one side. You will pass a statue of St. John Paul II, then the statue of Poe's Deed. Three powerful eagles spreading their wings symbolize three generations of Szczecin inhabitants who after World War II created the new face of the city. Jasne Błonia is adorned with tens of thousands of flowers, including crocuses blossoming in spring. A special place on the map of West Pomeranian capital. The Kasprowicz Park Trail, designed in 1900, runs across 50-hectare area. Walking the main alley into the park, you will reach a hilltop offering a lovely view of Lake Rusałka, whose shores are spanned by an old bridge. Kilometers-long park alleys feature many rare tree species. This is an excellent place to commune with nature and rest actively. It takes a few minutes to get from Lake Rusałka to the Różanka, in the 1930s one of the biggest rose gardens in Europe. The garden has regained its former glory and new flower beds with thousands of new roses. Other interesting plants are tree species, American hornbeam and Amur cork tree. Arkoński Forest, a natural extension of Kasprowicz Park, is a popular leisure destination mainly for those who prefer cycling or jogging in the network of forest paths. Surrounded by the forest, an upgraded public swimming pool Arkonka in summer attracts the whole family. Only a minute ride and you reach another frequented summer recreation spot, Lake Głębokie, meaning deep. The first record of the lake dates back to the 1266. With a sandy beach for sunbathers, it is also an attractive location for water sports. The lake is surrounded by forests hiding stately pre-war mansions. Arkoński Forest and the area around Lake Głębokie make up the city's green belt. Warszewo Hills is another verdant zone of forests, ponds and lakes, lying in the northern part of the city, surrounded by Wkrzańska Forest to the north. The observation tower offers views of the entire neighborhood. Warszewo was incorporated into the city perimeter in 1939. Moving east from Warszewo Hills towards the Odra River waterfront, let's take a closer look at former Bismarck Tower, today called Gocław Tower, built in 1921. 25 meters above the ground, you will see a spectacular view of the city, its hills, waters and marinas. Going from the tower along the Odra River, you may head to the downtown boulevards area, a convenient place to stop. There are numerous cafes and bistros, cruise boats taking visitors on a trip around the port of the Międzyodrze area. Tourist-friendly Odra Boulevard runs as far as the main train station. On hot summer days, it's an excellent sidewalk to stroll along and enjoy the cool of the water. Over the long bridge, one of the main gateways to the city, you will get to the local rowing club. Located on an islet facing the railway station, it is joined with the mainland by a small bridge. Let us leave the downtown area to explore Międzyodrze, a tranquil area between the Odra and its branch Regalica. An awesome maze of small channels and passages, habitats of rare birds and rich vegetation, virtually unspoiled by human activity. Although cruise boats reach some of these retreats, to search for the most mysterious spots, you'd better set out in your own boat. Tourists may also relax at the Dziewoklic baiting place. Międzyodrze is a real paradise for anglers and wildlife observers. From the Regalica bank, a lucky angler can catch a big sheatfish. The Odyniec Channel, among countless islets and passages, is an oasis of silence, wildlife and pure water. The banks of the Odra and Regalica rivers are spanned by many bridges, but one is unmatched. This is a railway power-driven drawbridge, the only such structure still in service in Europe. It was the site of a movie nominated for an Oscar award in 2004. Let us take a glance at one of Szczecin's extraordinary bodies of water. Lake Emerald, located on Szczecin's eastern edge, is hiding among tall trees of Bukowa or beech forest. The unusual color of water is due to high content of calcium carbonate. The water reservoir was formed from a former chalk and milestone excavation. The concrete bridge is what remains of the railway track that connected the chalk mine with a nearby cement mill. The pit was flooded in 1925, naturally evolving into a charming retreat. Lake Dąbie, the biggest water reservoir of this seaport, covers almost 1/5 of Szczecin's surface area. It is Poland's fourth largest lake, the only one where seagoing yachts can sail. The lake, 15 kilometers long, is surrounded by forests, numerous marinas and sailing club bases. When evening approaches, the dusk slowly falls on the castle and the whole city while the sun sets behind the horizon. Szczecin takes on completely new colors. The lighted waterfront, picturesque houses, restaurants and cafes of the reconstructed old town, the elevated massive structure of the castle and the spired St. James Cathedral overlooking the entire city. Szczecin by night is charming. Take another glance at the cathedral and the White Eagle Square. The illuminated palaces and the Baroque fountain with the wide-winged eagle can be looked at from the terrace of a nearby pizzeria. The nightlife commences in the downtown area. In the blinking lights inside the Arena Azoty Hall, a rockstars concert is going on, or maybe an exciting volleyball game, or a musical for kids. Visitors to the Royal Gate interior at the Prussian Tribute Square may be just listening to jazz music. At the weekend, the ultra-modern building of Szczecin Philharmonic Hall is likely to be a symphonic concert venue. Szczecin after dark is still bustling with life. Beautifully illuminated, Wałbrzych welcomes every tourist driving into the city center. It is an ideal place for a romantic stroll in the evening or a gourmet dinner in one of the restaurants on the embankment. Wałbrzych is an architectural gem of West Pomerania's capital, a testimony of great and proud past of this port city. In the spring and summer, this outstanding site witnesses events embodying Szczecin's maritime character, attracting thousands of residents and tourists from Poland and abroad. Planning your future, you may consider settling in Szczecin, an exceptional place in the heart of Europe.